It's about time with Rashan's about time boxing, aka Mr. Trill 100 Mil. What's up? To all the boxing fans out there, man, and everybody who support my channel. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. If you have not already subscribed to the channel and you're watching this video or any of my videos for the first time, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that notification bell to stay up on the latest with Rashan's About Time Boxing. I want to chime in on the interview with Terence Crawford and Andre Ward. There's a lot of mixed emotions out there about that video. I heard some people say that they feel like that that Terence Crawford and Andre Ward were like two prima donna, spoiled, basically two spoiled rich kids talking about their rich problems and how they don't appreciate the boxing fans and how they feel like that, that the interview was basically about them bashing, the boxing fans because the boxing fans don't understand. But I saw the interview. I didn't get that. Terence Crawford actually said a lot of things in there, that was, I mean, it was some logical things that he said in there. Like he was saying that, a lot of analysts and people like us who report on boxing, are biased. And I have said that many a times in my videos in the past. I said, whether I like a fighter or not, I'm going to give the fighter their props. And Terence Crawford said that in the interview. He was saying like, I'm not going, if I was Terence Crawford, he basically said if he was like us reporting on boxing, podcasting, whatever, vloggers, whatever, he said, just because, he don't like a fighter, he not going to bash the other one, just because he like a fighter or just lean everything towards the fighter that he like. And he basically was saying that, and I agree. He was saying if we going to be reporting this stuff, then the least that we can do is just call it straight down the middle. Like, don't, because you don't like a fighter or don't like something about a fighter, you're not going to give them their props, or you're not going to, be realistic about whatever the topic of discussion is. And I agree with that. Because, and I know he was talking about, he spoke about his negotiations with the, with the Errol Spence fight. And he spoke about how the negotiations broke down the first time, and he ended up going to BLK Prime, fighting for 10 million to fight David Avanesyan, because he felt like that he never said that, he was trying to slight Errol Spence. I heard people do, make videos and talking about, oh, well, how dare you talk about, Al Heyman, he's just doing his job, and how, he's trying to get Errol 40 and he got to get 30 and this, that, and the third and all that type of stuff. They both were well compensated. And it was just about Terence Crawford saying like, okay, listen, if y'all going to pay him this, then I should get paid this. And I feel like then I'm worth it now. Leading up to the fight before they fought, both when the fight negotiations broke down the first time and when they agreed to fight when they fought July 29th of 2023. I did videos in the past and I said, when everybody was saying, oh man, Bud can't sell, Bud not a household name, I was the one in my videos. I said, Terence Crawford, I said, he's just as much as a household name as Errol Spence. A lot of people told me I was on, oh man, you on drugs, you this, you tripping, man. Bud ain't this, he ain't that. And I was looking at the money that Errol Spence was making up until that point, because they both, up until they fought each other, they both made the most money that they have ever made in their career. And I said that too. But I didn't agree with the fact that, everybody talking about, oh man, look at all the numbers that Spence putting up. So the person that, I'm not going to say the person's name who made the video, who was ranting about, oh, you're mad at Al because he's trying to get Spence 40 and you want him to take 30, this, that, and the third. Okay, so if Spence was doing all these big numbers before fighting Terence Crawford, then how come the money he was making then wasn't equal to the numbers that he was putting up as far as pay-per-view and at the gate and all that? Because he was doing big numbers. 250,000, 300,000 pay-per-view buys, all that type of stuff. And I even said it back then, like Bud was, getting, 4 million, you know, he got, 8 million, or I think he got 8 million when he fought Sean Porter. Sean Porter got 6 million, or it was the other way around. Porter got 4 million, Bud got 6 million or something like that. Errol Spence was getting 1.5, 2.5 million, stuff like that. I mean, of course, he was getting money on the back end, pay-per-view and off the gate and stuff like that. So if he was getting 2.5, then might have rounded off to maybe, 6 million or something like that. But Bud was getting that, like, his contract, like, you know what I mean? When he fought Kell Brook, I think he got like 4 million, something like that. And in his other fights, he was making more money than Errol Spence. But Errol Spence was supposed to be the big draw, but the money that he was getting paid for those big draw fights, to me, in my opinion, wasn't equaling out to, to them justifying why Bud should have just accepted whatever they offered him. And that's how a lot of people was trying to make it seem like Terence Crawford should have just accepted what they was offering him. And because Errol Spence was supposed to be who he was, it was okay for Errol to get this boatload of money, but Bud was supposed to just like not get nothing. So Bud said, he made the mistake of going to Al Heyman. He went straight to Al first. And once he saw, what was going on, he was like, okay. So he said him and Errol was texting each other. And he going to Errol like, man, like, listen, this is what they trying to do. Like, you know what I mean? If we really trying to make the fight happen, like, this is what it is. And even Andre Ward said that Errol Spence had texted him and was like, look, man, I'm not, I'm not ducking, but I really do want to fight him. I'm just trying to get these other belts to get myself in position. And I also made this in my other videos. I also made the comments about when everybody talking about what Errol Spence was during the time, like, oh man, he got 3 belts and all that. And I said, well, shoot, but is a three division, I mean 2 division, I guess at the time, 2 division world champion and former undisputed champion. So he even had more accolades. And when I said that, people were saying, oh, that don't mean nothing. We talking about right now. Nah, but what he accomplished in the past, what you accomplished in the past as a fighter are the things that get you in position to get the big money. Because there's no way in the world, if Errol Spence, had it came into that fight with Terence Crawford, or either one of them for that matter, or let's just say a fighter in general. There's no way a fighter, like, okay, I'll take for instance, let's take somebody like Adrian Broner now. Look at the direction his career went in. Now, let's say if he was to get a fight with Errol Spence or even Terence Crawford, you think he would be in a position to be able to tell them how much money he want now because of, because if you looking at the now and how his career is going, people wouldn't want to hear that. But people was trying to discredit what Bud had already accomplished coming into the Spence fight and was trying to say, oh, it don't matter that he a former undisputed champion, former 2 division world, all that stuff don't mean nothing. We talking about right now. And my thing is, I think I said everything that Errol Spence accomplished was at 147. He wasn't a multi-division world champion. He wasn't a former undisputed champion. Everything he accomplished was in 1 division. And that right there justified why, he should have, got all this money. And basically he's saying like, all right, if Spence was going to get 25 or 30 million, and if they offered Bud 5 million, then he should have been good with that. That's what, basically what they saying. Bud was just saying like, no, like, listen, us together. And again, in my videos, I said that too. I said that together, they are going to do more than Spence ever did in his previous fights and more than Bud ever did in his previous fights. And Bud said that in the interview with Andre Ward. So it was the 2 men on the marquee because the fight was so, it was for so long. It was so long an anticipated fight. Has been anticipated for so long, the build up. Now, my fear for that was that By the time I thought that the way that everything was going, when it finally got to the point of them fighting, I felt like, that they would have, basically killed the hype, and nobody was even going to be concerned about wanting to see it. But it didn't get to that point. I honestly thought that at some point, if they kept doing what they were doing, that it would get to that point. And then when they finally decided, people was just going to be like, oh man, I don't even care. But it didn't get to that point. And so, but it wasn't no thing like, I'm just saying, from what I got from watching the interview, to me it didn't look like, that they was dissing boxing fans. Because a lot of times, and I agree, like, people will have these opinions but don't know what them gloves feel like. I've been in that ring, I've been hit, I know what them gloves feel like, and so a lot of times, and I think, one of the particular individuals who made the video, I think he was just like mad about that fact too, that they was just saying like, you got this opinion about what we do and you never put no gloves on and you never been hit. And that's what Bud was saying. Like, all right, well, if you think that what we do is so easy, then put on some gloves and get in the ring and try to do it. And he used swimming as an example, basketball as an example. He didn't just use boxing. But in any case, like, of course, like, we all have opinions about, I mean, look, you got commentators who commentate boxing right now and never been in the ring, never put on no gloves, never fought. And I listened to a lot of them, and a lot of them had these biased narratives that they, posting and spinning and all that. But I think the give and take goes both ways. If people like us who have an opinion about how a fighter is performing or how a fighter has performed, we're entitled to that. We're entitled to express our views and our opinions, freedom of speech. We're allowed to do that. And I don't think that, the fighter should get upset and be like, oh man, y'all don't know what y'all talking about. You need to shut up and do this and do that and all that. Like, no. Fighters, they say, listen, they're boxing fans or critics or whatever, they're entitled to their opinion. But until you get in the ring, or if you ever been in a ring, then you understand it's a lot harder. Because he was saying, and I know he was referencing to Cameron and Mason, the whole Shakur Stevenson thing, like, it is hard to knock somebody out, unless you sucker punching them without them seeing. And even though we hear to think it takes 5 pounds of pressure to knock somebody out, but when you in there fighting somebody who's trying to get you too, and boxing is not just about knockouts though, but it's about, it's a combative sport. It's about two men, two people in a ring. You know what I'm saying? One trying to, outpoint the other one. And if the knockout comes, then it comes. But I don't think that fighters should get upset either when the critics voice their opinions about how they perform their fights. I don't think the fighters should get upset about that. And then those of us, the critics or, YouTubers, vloggers, whatever, podcasters, well, we shouldn't be upset if a fighter responds either, though. We can't, get upset and start, now it gets to the point where, unnecessary threats and all this stuff is being made, like, because it's not that deep. It's not that deep. Everybody has an opinion and everybody's entitled to one. Even if the fighter don't agree with their opinion, okay, that's fine. Because everybody's, I'm not looking at things through your eyes. You're not looking at things through my eyes. You know what I mean? Like, the way everybody look and perceive things is different. Like, I'm giving my opinion on how I felt like the interview went, but other people said that they sound like two, spoiled millionaire, prima donna people, talking about their rich problems that nobody want to hear about. But I didn't see it that way. I didn't look at it like they were talking about problems that rich people got and, like nobody wants to hear about your millionaire problems and all that. I didn't take it that way. Terence Crawford is from the ghetto, man. If you look at his background, his life, he wasn't always rich. He worked hard to get to where he is. You look at Andre Ward's background. Mother, I think his mother was on drugs. I think his father was on drugs too. You know, like these guys had hard upbringing. So, I didn't take it that way. But once again, the people who made the videos and stuff about the interview with Terence Crawford and Andre Ward and said that that's how they saw it through their eyes. That's I can't get mad at how they viewed the interview. That's their perception of how they saw the interview. And I'm just saying through my eyes and from what I saw, from what I heard, that's not the way I perceived it. I felt like they were just, talking about things that really happened. And oftentimes, like Terence Crawford said, a lot of times, like, so it's just that so that the vloggers, the podcasters and YouTubers and everybody who reported, they supposed to be able to just say how they feel because they're entitled to an opinion. And the fighters, we supposed to just be mute and not say nothing. And he basically saying like we human too, we got feelings too. We just in the spotlight. This is our occupation. We in the spotlight. And I understand that. So I didn't feel no type of way about, the things that were said in the interview. I didn't see nothing to me that was offensive. Andre Ward asked some questions and Terence Crawford answered. He answered those questions. Honestly, I guess, the best way he felt. And I understood that when he said, like, man, everybody else just get to say whatever they want about, fighters and how they performed. And then we the fighters, so we supposed to just be, mute, just be quiet and not have an opinion. We can't express how we feel. Like we not supposed to just say nothing. Like we supposed to just let these people just say whatever they want. And in some cases, some people will say, yeah, because you're a professional. But a lot of us who report the boxing and all that stuff, we call this some type of professionalism. It's an activity for me. It's just, because I love boxing. It's just, you know, I've been in the ring. I boxed before. So I used to box. So I love the sport of boxing. So that's why I always say at Rashan's About Time Boxing, we call it right down the middle. There is no, you know what I mean? We're not going to be, because I feel some type of way about this fighter, I'm going to just be, no. And if something is not right, you know what I mean? Then, or if I feel like something, or if a fighter is being a certain type of way, then I'm going to speak on it, whether I like the fighter or I don't like the fighter. Just like when I did the video, um, about talking about Jerron Ennis and Terence Crawford and saying how one could make the argument that Terence Crawford went up to 154 to avoid fighting Jerron Ennis. I never said that's what he did. I said one could make the argument, and everybody got upset about that. But Terence Crawford pretty much said something similar about Fundora in the opening interview. I think it was like, if y'all seen the interview, it's right there around like 3 minutes and 30 seconds into the interview, where he said, Fundora, chose to, vacate his belt, you know what I mean? Or, get stripped of his belt, and then chose to fight Errol Spence rather than to fight him, even though Fundora said he wanted to fight Bud. Bud was like, you can't say that I'm the guy you want, when you let them take a belt or vacated a belt, whatever, so you can go fight Errol Spence. If I'm the guy you wanted to fight, then why you let them take that belt from you, if I'm the guy that you wanted to fight. You see what I'm saying? And he said he wanted Fundora at 150, but then he chose Madrimov. And we know Madrimov is 10-0 with 7 knockouts, but he got a belt. And Bud said he wanted to fight a champion, but he was already an undisputed champion at 147. So that's what I'm saying. So Bud chose to let the IBF strip him of his belt so that he could go up to 54. So that's why I'm just saying, like, that's why I said one could make the argument, but, but I'm just saying, but I digressed a little bit. But what I'm just saying is, like, I didn't see how the interview with Andre Ward and Terence Crawford was offensive. I'm a boxing fan and I didn't find it offensive. But again, this is just my take, my opinion, and my perception of the video. But I don't know if y'all seen the video. You know, let me know what your perception. Do y'all feel like that they were like two spoiled rich people? Do you feel like that they were dissing boxing fans? Because I didn't feel like that. I thought it was a good interview, you know. I think Andre Ward was trying to bait him into some things, like the way he was, you know, because Andre Ward is intelligent, man. He's smart with his wordplay. You know how to, you know, so I think he was trying to bait Terence Crawford into saying some things, or, you know, trying to get certain things out of him, and Bud didn't play into it. But other than that, I didn't, as a boxing fan and as one who, you know, gives an opinion on boxing on YouTube, I didn't find it offensive to me, you know, and this is the way that I perceive it through my eyes. But everybody may perceive it different. I don't know. So y'all let me know. Did y'all find the interview with Terence Crawford and Andre Ward offensive to boxing fans? Or do y'all feel like the interview, you know, was cool? Like, you know, it was a good interview and you felt like that they touched on some real things, like serious things that actually, that fighters actually go through, and that people on the other side of that really don't, you know, don't understand. And I do believe that it is a thing like where you can have an opinion about something, but if you've never actually did it, you know, then you don't know how hard it actually is to do what somebody else does if you've never done it. You know what I mean? So I, you know, so I see it in that sense. And I think that some people may have just taken offense to that fact, like, oh, well, because I'm not a boxer, you telling me that, how dare you say these things, that because I'm not a boxer, you know, I can't have an opinion. You know, I don't think that that's what they were saying. They just were saying that fighters are scrutinized, under attack. You know, everybody has an opinion about their performance, and it's true. And it seemed like today's boxing fans would never be pleased with anything. Shakur Stevenson, you know, too elusive, don't get hit, he's boring. Jaron Ennis, you know what I mean, takes the risk of getting hit to stop this guy, you know, Avanesian, and he takes too many hits. Like, you know, it can't be, you know, that's what I'm saying. And it's like, you can't, you know, it's, you gotta pick and choose which one is it. You know, like, and then if a fighter do, and if fighters do take, you know, risks, you know, they say, oh man, that was stupid, man. What do you take a risk for, man? He's supposed to be smarter than that, man. That ain't his style. Why he doing that? Like, you know, so there'll be a bunch of different things, but people are entitled. Those of us who report this stuff, who give our opinions on it, you know, we are entitled to it, but just as fighters, they're human beings too. We got to remember that at the end of the day. They're human beings with feelings and emotions too. So, you know, I don't think it should get to the point where people is like hurling threats and all that type of stuff, talking about clip up and, you know, smacking fire and all that type of stuff. I don't think things should get to that point, but I mean, it could be a thing like, okay, well, you got your opinion, how you feel, but you know, I was the one that was in the ring fighting. You know what I mean? Because we all think we understand certain things, especially even if we never did it, but we think we experts will understand certain things just because we may watch it all the time. You got, you know, these like the boxing, like the, you know, like Al Bernstein and them guys like that. They watch boxing all the time. They think just by watching boxing and they see a fighter do something, they feel like that they can say what punch a fighter should throw, what they should do to, you know, avoid, you know, getting hit, or after the fight if they got now, whatever. They, of course, they're gonna give their opinion on it. But unless you actually in that ring and you got somebody stepping to you and trying to get, you know, you got to be, you know, boxing is about constantly making adjustments, you know, because at some point you got to. And if not, you know, bad things happen in that ring. But anyway, drop the comments in the comment section below. Let me know how y'all feel about the interview with Terence Crawford and Andre Ward. Do y'all feel like that it was a diss towards boxing fans, or do y'all feel like it was on the up and up?